right back here live in the studios with the emphasis on the pastor's prologue theme. Dr. G. Dennis Campbell, Lincoln College educator. And Dr. Campbell has in mind, and I think it's a wonderful project, as I said, I hope I'm around to see the fruition of this, Lincoln College Outdoor Center for Environmental Education. It's really a well thought out and far-reaching goal that you have here, Dennis. For instance, we started in the South Annex, as you call it, the Peoples of the Past, and you have a number of things under that category. Pleistocene Park, is that the correct pronunciation?
The Pleistocene, yeah.
Pleistocene. Well, I knew I'd get it half right, you know.
No, that's
not bad. And Muscle Research Station. They do that out every day with me out the gym. In any event, let's pursue that a little bit. And then, Dennis, I don't want to overlook getting to your goal of restoration of the prairie grasses out there. I want to be sure and talk about that. But let's go right now to your Center for the Outdoor Environmental Education.
Sure. Well, when you first mentioned Peoples of the Past, that fits quite nicely in both the idea of a restored prairie, and when we were talking about an archaeological site, finding Indian artifacts along the creek. What I wanted, I don't know how many of your listeners have been to the Illinois State Museum in Springfield, but in the upper floor is a Peoples of the Past exhibit in which they have life-size dioramas of several different historical periods when Native American Indians occupied Illinois. And so you could start close to it. So we had the pioneer times and Kickapoo Indians. Well, I'd like on Lincoln College property, 5 miles north of campus, to have a pioneer log cabin. I'd like to have a prairie restoration plot, prairie grasses and wildflowers. And I know Bill's looking at me because he and I were there earlier with a number of students and board members and general people. We planted a 1 acre prairie of seeds, and it's been just marvelous this summer. Watching that grow. I'm anxious for the winter to come along. I'm waiting for spring to see our first flowers that will come from this restored prairie. That would be what Illinois was like in the early 1800s. Prior to that John Deere guy, who's world famous in Illinois, 1836, 37, the self-scouring steel plow that he invented kind of changed our landscape here. Well, I want to have local community. I call the Peoples of the Past Lincoln College's contribution to the community, because I want community people to come out, and there's some really wonderful prairie restorations right here in town and outside, but I wanted another one where they can come out and see the prairie. I wanted them to see a log cabin. I wanted to see a kind of a pioneer garden. I'd love for people to grow vegetables and make them available to the community, or a homeless shelter type of contribution. A little bit down the road, around a corner, following a sidewalk, I want to have a Kickapoo Indian shelter. So that's going to be patterned after the one at the Illinois State Museum. On the second floor there, they have one that is out of the weather. Well, I want to build one in the weather. They say, it'll deteriorate in 2 years. Well, Lincoln College got more students in 2 years coming by. We got inbuilt labor to build these things.
There you go.
And we'll have a Kickapoo Indian garden. Go around the corner, down to another area, a beautiful ridge that overlooks Sugar Creek. And, the environmentalist in me cringes at this next statement, but I've spent this summer, my brother-in-law and a number of other people have helped me cut some trees so that we have this viewpoint from the top of a ridge down onto Sugar Creek. Well, in the past, they used to build these Native American Indians of the Mississippian culture would build these great ceremonial mounds. Well, it looks like a mound from Sugar Creek. We're going to put I've been working on a ceremonial Mississippian Indian shelter right there at the top to illustrate that culture. And that's right next to the archaeological dig that will be there in next year or the year after, whenever I can put this vision together. Well, further down the creek, keep following it, you get to a forest next to the creek, a woodland shelters, a little bit older period, go back 1,000 years, 2,000 years, and go another half mile, and now you have the site where the mammoth was found. We can even have some, if we go back 11,000 years, we had humans, Native American Indians, of the Clovis culture or Folsom culture, that were roaming our area as a hunter and gatherers. We don't have any evidence that they interacted with our mammoth, Judd, but we can tell that story. So it's land use, peoples of the past, community festivals. On my list that Bill was looking at earlier, we have greenhouses and pavilions. We got nature trails. We got demonstration archaeological dig. We got these villages I'm talking about. We got wind and solar energy. Peoples of the past could be peoples of the present too. So we'll want to talk about alternative energy. What I'm trying to do is design something for the community so that they can come out and celebrate Lincoln College's offerings. I want our college to be a part of the community, and we need to provide things for the community.
Can you kind of make a timeline on the Native American presence in this area?
Good point.
Because I've always been fascinated by the Native Americans. I've always thought that was kind of romantic, although I think I'm probably mistaken. But at any rate, give us kind of a timeline of who they were.
Well, the State Museum is real good on that, and they patterned, let's just go back to, say, the 1700s and 1800s, maybe the late 1600s. Kickapoo Indian, more of the modern historic Indians, when the colonizers had come to, there were people here, and they were typically the Kickapoo Indians in this area, and their little shelter is based on an area just outside of Funk's Grove. So just down the road from here, their entire Kickapoo village there at the State Museum's exhibit is based on that. Now, we don't have any assurance there was a Kickapoo village anywhere, say, at the Sugar Creek site of that Sugar Creek up near Funk's Grove. So if you go back into, say, 100, 200 years, 300 years at the most, well, now prior to that, we don't know where they went, but there was the Mississippian culture, and that there was a very large, that kind of, if you go to Cahokia, in Illinois side, but over there by St. Louis, that went all the way down into Oklahoma, and that could go all the way back to, say, 1,000 years ago.
Dennis, we always try to close a viewpoint with, and I think I found an appropriate saying. Excuse me, please. Old Sam Clements, Mark
Yes,
Twain said,
sure.
This is perfect for Dennis. I have never let I've never let my schooling interfere with my education.
Is that not
Thank
right?
you very much, Dr. Dennis Campbell.
Thank you for having me.